All right, so you have to know what low self-worth behavior looks like before you can understand how to move into high self-worth behavior. Okay, so I actually hear a lot from my clients, from friends, like, Susie, it is frustrating. I know this is one of the most frustrating things to hear, is that, yeah, you have to love yourself before anyone else can find you worthy of love, or sees you that. You know, you have to have super high standards. And when people told me that, I was like, what are you talking about? I work out. I get regular massages. I get my nails done. I'm always, trying to better myself. I'm so into personal growth, like it's not even funny. I'm a complete personal growth junkie. I mean, all that was self-care. Yeah, and I'm into it, and if you're into it, it's so good. I love self-care. I love skincare. I love caring for my skin. I take supplements out the wazoo, like tons of stuff. But that's not the self-worth that I'm talking about. The high self-worth behavior that I'm talking about is that you never compromise your standards. You never compromise your boundaries. You never compromise your own comfort for another. And I don't mean that you're obligated to do things for your children or for your family or things like that. But I mean just those daily comforts. An example that I've noticed in myself is, say, during the pandemic, I have really had to work high to stay in my highest self-worth if somebody's up too close on me and they're not wearing a mask, and I just want my space. I don't mean anything by them. I'm not saying anything about them, but now I found it very easy to say, hey, I'm going to move over this way, and if you don't mind, don't completely get into my space, okay? I would appreciate it. And so that's really easy for me to say. Now, I can't control what they do, but I stay in that high self-worth behavior. Hey, I'm not playing, So that is that's an example of a higher sense of self-worth. So what I want you to do is become a detective in your life, because I get it. This work can be really triggering. It's hard to look back at the history of your relationships and own your part in it, because my past relationships, I can't do anything to change that person, to control, to get closure, to feel like they understand, like, how bad you hurt me. No, I'm not interested in that anymore, because I understand that is futile. And that was a hard place for me to get to. It was very triggering for someone to keep saying, let that go. Because I had those subconscious trauma looping thoughts, and I felt like I could not let it go. And later on in my programs, I get really, really deeply into the psychology of how the reasoning part of your brain, called the prefrontal cortex, how that shuts down and your subconscious takes over. Driving is a really good example of that. I don't get in my car and say, okay, I'm going to put one hand at 2 o'clock and one hand at 9 o'clock. And then when there comes a curve, I don't really think about it. I can be on the phone. I can be taking a drink of sparkling water. I can be managing my coffee. I can be switching the radio, and my eyes are on the road, and I'm just going, and I don't even think about the route I'm taking. I just usually know where I'm going, or I'm listening to Google Maps. My subconscious is driving. I'm not reasoning. I'm not in my reasoning brain. Well, that happens so often when we're in relationships and when we're used to doing behaviors. So one of my favorite exercises to really start owning who you are and your part in it, because when you own your part in it, you become empowered. If somebody outside of me is my problem, I have no power. That's really a drag. I feel powerless. And so, but if I am the person that can grow and change their perspective, change their behaviors, and become not only think differently, but actually become different at a cellular level, become different subconsciously, have a new neural pathway, change my neural architecture, then I'm empowered. One of my favorite things to do is mirror work, okay? And you can do mirror work right now while you're watching this video with me, and I will mirror back to you. So while I'm looking at you and you are looking at me, whether it's on your phone or on your laptop, I'm looking straight at you and I'm declaring, and you can look straight at me and declare, I'm willing to be a better version of myself. I'm willing to own my part in every relationship I take part in. This is not me judging myself. You're saying this out loud to me as well about you. I'm not judging myself. I'm not available for that. But I'm willing to take a square look at it. I am willing to be triggered. I'm willing to have an elevated emotion surrounding this because it's time. I'm no longer available for thought loops that do not serve me. I'm willing to have an expanded sense of self-worth. I am. Absolutely. And this is where you can absolutely, if any time during this process that you feel triggered, or that you don't feel heard, or that you start feeling like, Susie's the problem, like, she's bringing up all this crap, then make sure to email me or reach out to me on social, okay? And you're going to have all those links. Because one of the things that's really important to me, I don't want to put my clients ever in a space to where you don't have a voice, okay? I think that was one of my first traumas, is I felt dismissed by my father. So I don't ever want to put you in that space. And if you feel like that, all you have to do is email me and say, Susie, I'm pissed. You've triggered me and I don't like it. And we will start a dialogue. But just know that you are in a safe space with me. You even have a voice. You can get mad at me. Okay? So every single day going forward, it would be great if you did it for the next 68 days, getting in the mirror and looking right at yourself. I am willing to expand my self-worth. I'm willing to look at this squarely. I'm willing to be triggered. I'm willing to be uncomfortable as hell. I'm ready to own my part in it. I'm ready to allow other people the right to be wrong. I'm willing to validate the fact that, yep, I was traumatized. Yep, somebody has treated me poorly. Absolutely. But their part in it was their part. So now I'm willing to look at what caused me after the first time that happened. How did it get reinforced? How have I kept making these same choices over and over again? I'm willing to look at that now. And I'm not going to spin out of control. And even if I do, because I have, I'm not going to spin out of control. And even if I do, I'm going to come back to this space and declare it over and over and over again until this type of work becomes my default. I'm willing to grow every day. All right? Great. So I'm going to have the script in a PDF for you. And then the next video, we're going to play a little game. We're going to go even deeper into detective work. We're going to play a little game of, have you ever? All right. See you in a minute. Bye.